back's turn. Origi turn, shoots.
Build the dream in FIFA 20, pay less and get more, and use the code TVM at checkout for a bigger discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to run through a set of formation, tactics, in-game instructions and all that jargon. I'm going to give you some gameplay tips as well, and I'm going to show you some gameplay itself. I think there are so many different ways to play this game this year. I love it, right? And yeah, okay, the game's got problems, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, at least, I'm enjoying myself. So that's all I really care about. Now, I tested 5 at the back, and I thought, do you know what would be really good is if we did 5 at the back, but then use the 2 wing backs to go forward, and we treat them as attackers, essentially, when we've got the ball and we throw as many bodies forward as we can, and then when we come back defending, you've got your full-backs coming back in, or your wing-backs coming back into a back 5. And it worked, sure, but this way you get more of an attack. And I feel like the attack was a little bit more important than defending. Although this is a very defensive style of play. It doesn't look like it right now because we're in a 3-5-2. And we're going to stay in a 3-5-2. That's the whole formation. But this is so effective. And you do need players with high stamina. Although I am going to show you that it's doable without high stamina, because not many of these players actually have stamina above sort of 75. But it is doable, but you will need some subs. Now, with that being said, let's get into let's get into the custom tactics themselves. So let's go into the 3-5-2 variation, and these are the settings that I currently use. Now, you can toggle the offensive style. We'll get to that in a second. That's not necessarily required. Defensive style on balance is probably the best one, because anything else is just going to ruin the shape of the players. It'll ruin the player instructions. It won't be ideal. So pressure on heavy touch, again, you're pulling people out of position when there is a heavy touch for your opponent, and then that will counter some of the instructions you have on the players. They might get confused. They'll be all over the place. We don't want to do that. It's pretty much the same for possession loss as well. And then constant pressure, we don't need that. Again, you're pulling people out of position. You're leaving massive gaps all over the field, and it's just not a position we want to put ourselves in. Drop back. If you play this, then get out. And then, of course, balanced. Now, 3 width. You need 3 width, really. I mean, I guess you could argue that you could maybe play with 2, or you could argue you could play with 4. But I've got it on 3 right now. It seems to be working quite well. You need this really because the wing, the left and the right mid are going to come back as if they are wing backs, and then they're going to drop into a back 5. Sometimes even like a back 6 almost. But obviously, if you play too wide, there's not going to be enough room there. There's going to be gaps all over the place. People are not going to know what they're doing. If you play too narrow, you're going to get caught in behind a lot. So 3 is a nice balance. The depth, you can do whatever you want with this, really. We don't want to push it too far forward because you don't want to get caught behind. Playing 1 drop back is not fun. It's not entertaining. It's boring. If you want to grind results that way, you feel free, but I've genuinely nearly fallen asleep playing against someone who plays 1 drop back. So I don't want to have to be that guy or play against that. So I'm playing 5. You can mess with 4, you can mess with 6. I'm on 5. It's a nice balance. We'll leave it there. Long ball is not necessarily what it says on the tin. We're not going to be looping balls over the top from our full-backs and our centre-backs. What this does is basically just sends the attackers on runs. So if you're very comfortable by using your LB-L1, RB-R1, sort of, sending people, bringing them back, bringing them close. If you're comfortable doing that, and you do that a lot, putting this on balanced is no bad thing. I think you'll be able to essentially do your own build-up, But I've got it on long ball, so that if sometimes, I'm playing rivals, I'm not paying attention, or I'm in weekend league and maybe the pressure's got to me and, I'm not going to be able to press it in the right areas and such. I've just got everyone bombing forward and people making their own runs, and of course we've got player instructions on them to make runs as well. It just helps a lot in general. Width, I've got it. You want this within 1 bar of your defensive width, and that just in general, I would say that goes for every formation that you ever play. You want it between 1 and 2 bars of what your defensive width is. Otherwise, you get stretched, and again, players get pulled out of position. So I've got it on 4, and my defensive is 3. If you're going to play defensive 4, maybe consider going 5 so that you get a little bit more width going forward. Players in the box. This is kind of trial and error. At the moment, I think I've got it on 7. I wouldn't be against putting it up 1. I don't really want to put it down 1, to be fair, but I wouldn't be against putting it up 1 more so that we get more people bombing forward. It depends on how good you are at defending, really, because of course the more players you have in the box, the less people you have back, right? So just bear that in mind. Corners are 100% your preference. It makes absolutely no difference to the formation, to the style of play, to anything. I've got it on 2, and I always have it on 2 for whatever formation that I play. And the reason I do that is because I hate getting caught on the counter. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. Counter-attack this year is very, very... It's not overpowered because it's balanced. It's right. It should be as powerful as it is and as strong as it is. And I don't like getting caught, so I have it on 2. To be fair, you put a ball into the box and you've got like 11 players or 10 players in the box because your keeper's not going to come up unless you're desperate. So... You whack that all the way up. You've got everyone in the box, bar maybe your goalkeeper, and you lose the ball, bang. You know, they've got Mbappe. You're done. You're not going to catch him. He's gone. But also, how often do you score from corners realistically? The answer, not many. So I have it on 2. I play it short from the corner. I try and go back to the halfway line and work my way into the box. That's what I tend to do. Free kicks, I just leave it on 3 because I tend to shoot off every free kick that I have. So if we get a rebound, we could be there to pop it in. Now, the formation itself, obviously, is still a 3-5-2, and it's entirely up to you on where you want to play these players and how you want to play the game. So, the whole premise of this is going to be for your back 3 to stay where they are. They're not moving. They're on stay back while attacking. They are going to be out and out, no-nonsense centre-backs. Your 2 CDMs in front, so in my case, Tolisso and Brandt, are going to be on stay back while attacking, and I'll show you all this in just a second, and they're going to stay where they are. They're not going to move. They're going to act as if they are defensive midfielders in every sense of the word. Now, Julian Brandt is maybe a little bit wasted in this situation, but I am changing my team, so we can kind of ignore the players, sort of. The left and the right mid. These are the players that are going to be using the most stamina. So you are going to want very high stamina players in this position or in these positions. And hopefully, or not hopefully, what's the word I'm looking for? The best work rates to have here are like high. So hopefully you can find players with high stamina who are very well rounded at attacking and defending that have high work rates. If you have that, happy days. You have got a really good set of fullbacks / wingers / defenders, you know, like they're going to be up and down constantly throughout the game. And then Paco Alcacer, this is the most important player on the pitch, really, your cam. You need to have your best player in this position because they are going to be the one that is going to dictate the tempo of the entire game. The reason that is because your 2 strikers, in my case, Kevin Campbell and Timo Werner. Again, like I said, I'm changing it. I know Alcacer is a striker, but there's a reason why I've got him in at cam and not as a striker, and that's because they are going to be on getting behind, but come back on defence. So they're actually going to be running a lot. Let's go into the instructions. So as you can see, we've got them on getting behind, both of them, and come back on defence. The reason that is because when we're in possession, they're going to bomb forward. We've already got players on the box into 7. And then, of course, we've got getting behind. So they are going to be bombing forward, trying to break the back line. But when we lose the ball, we want them to come back into the midfield to help out Brandt and Tolisso as much as we can. Because Brandt and Tolisso are on get back or stay back while attacking, they're going to be quite deep. So we want Werner and Campbell to come back and help us out as much as possible. And they will do. And it's the same with Rashica and Hazard as well. They'll both come back and they'll both help out in defence. And then when we get the ball, everyone bombs forward, bar those 5 in the middle. Tar, Boateng, Akanji, and then Tolisso and Brandt. Tolisso and Brandt are important because they will help out in getting the ball to Alcacer. Alcacer then being the best player on the field. He's not, but we're going to have a player in there who's going to be our best player. He'll be able to hold up the ball because he'll have a little bit of strength. He'll have great ball control and dribbling. He'll be quite quick as well. And of course, his passing is going to be phenomenal. That's the type of player you want there, so that they can hold up the ball. They're going to wait for Timo Werner and Kevin Campbell to bomb forward. You're going to have the overlapping Rashica and Hazard. And then, of course, you've got backup there in Brandt and Tolisso, just in case you do need to go backwards. And then you can play it to any one of the 4 attackers, essentially. And that's how it works. Alcacer is on stay forward and get into the box. We want him as far forward as possible constantly, because we're going to be aiming our ball towards him from defence. He's going to be holding it up and, like I said, just letting it fly to the overlapping attackers. Rashica, it's the same for Hazard as well. Come back on defence because we want him to come back and help out as much as possible. Get in the box for the cross will obviously make him bomb forward, as well as the team instruction of get into the box. So we've got like 7 for that. So yeah, he should get forward. Julian Brandt, and this is the same for Tolisso as well. Cut passing lanes because we want them to be moving round to try and block off those passes. And then, of course, stay back while attacking because we don't want him going anywhere. We want him staying there with Tolisso, helping out the back line if we get caught, which we will do, I'm sure. And then, of course, cover centre because we want them in the middle. If I could put drop back between the defenders, which is an option in like a 4-1-2-1-2, and I do that for my CDM in a 4-1-2-1-2, I would maybe do it for Tolisso. I'd leave Brandt on stay back while attacking, but you can't do that, unfortunately. So it is what it is. I've not touched the instructions for the centre-backs, and I've not touched the instructions for the goalkeeper. Feel free to mess around with sweeper keeper and things like that if you want to. I'd prefer to do it manually. But that's essentially what it is. Feel free to pause the video at any point to get the instructions. Each corresponding position is the same, so left and right mid are the same, both CDMs are the same, both strikers are the same, so there's not an awful lot of point me showing you both of them. We also have the wingers on conservative interceptions for the time being. I am still trying to work out whether it's best just to leave it on normal or conservative. Don't really want them flying in and being pulled out of position is what my thought process was, but I don't know. I don't know if it's really helping me an awful lot, to be honest. They do sometimes seem a little bit sheepish in going for certain sort of interception scenarios, so I think I might take that off. But for the time being, that's where we are with it. So as I'm going to let some clips play out in the background, I'm going to talk you through this. So I won't freeze it or stop it or show you any of those fancy lines that people tend to put on with formation videos. It's simple, right? If you're competent at defending, then this formation isn't going to be bad for you in terms of conceding a lot of goals, because that was my concern when I first started playing 3 at the back. And in previous FIFAs, 3 at the back is always, oh, we can get in behind here. But this year, it doesn't matter too much if people do get in behind, because if you force them wide, getting crosses into the box isn't really going to help anyone. They get a cross into the box, you're going to be able to defend it relatively easily because crosses aren't as powerful as they used to be. And of course, the defenders tend to get the better of the attackers, and people aren't using those sort of 6'4" strikers anymore, so crosses aren't really that big a deal. So, with that being said, it's unlikely you're going to get caught behind anyway, because for me, in this situation, Rashica and Hazard will come back and they'll help out. Your 2 CDMs drop quite sort of deep, so you do end up having sort of 5 and 6 at the back at times. Do you get overloaded in the midfield? No, because you've got the 2 strikers coming back and helping out, so at times you do have like a 4 or 5 man midfield, and then going forward you are going to be heavily reliant on the cam to keep hold of the ball just for a couple of seconds until those strikers can bomb forward. I have never played with a formation that is so defensive but so attacking at the same time. Now, you will find that your possession, if you hold the ball a lot right now, like I do, right? I play a 4-1-2-2, and I tend to hold the ball a lot. And I get 95 plus pass accuracy every game, and I'm generally getting around 60% possession every game. Now, this formation, unfortunately, we're not getting that. I'm getting more sort of 89-90% pass accuracy, because the counter-attack does require you sometimes to play some risky passes, and be prepared for that. But also, I'm not getting anywhere near as much in terms of possession. My possession has dropped to, say, nearly 50-50. Now, you can have a secondary formation and system set up for this, so you're not always playing this. I have been switching between the 4-1-2-1-2 and the 3-5-2 in-game, depending on what my opponent is doing, what he's set up like, and how good he is. But generally speaking, if you play this from start to finish, you are going to have to use subs because your left and right mid, and indeed your 2 strikers, are using a lot of stamina. So if you don't have high stamina players in all 4 of those positions, just be prepared to bring people on as subs. In particular, in my opinion, the left and right mid, they use a lot of stamina. So with that being said, I am a big fan of this, and I think I'm going to be using it in Weekend League. But like I said, I do switch between a 4-1-2-1-2 and a 3-5-2, depending on my opponent. I'm trying to adapt to how other people play while trying to find a couple of formations that I really like. But you've got a lot of people back when defending, you get a lot of people forward when attacking, and you are never without people in the midfield. And that's why this formation is one of the best in the game, in my opinion. And at the moment, I don't see many people using it. So fill your boots right now. Use it. Test it out. Go into a friendly game if you don't want to ruin your record. Just try it and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And of course, if you have discovered any formations that you think are overpowered and underutilized right now, leave them in the comments down below. Any specific instructions, you can obviously let me know that as well. If you have enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.